your name is Hugh Morris. What? Hugh Morris. What? Is that funny? Is that humorous? What? What?
Welcome to the Performance Center.
Hey, what's going on, Knights? Critical Redemption here, bringing you another game review, and I'll be reviewing WWE 2K16 for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So now the story, there really is no story to this game. You guys know, if you guys have played previous games, there's no story. I mean, there is a campaign mode when you create a player. That's all. You'll take your player in creation mode, you'll create your character and take him through a roster of wrestlers, and you'll basically fight every single one until you win the championship title. As for that, there's also Stone Cold career mode, where you go through some of his classic matches, and that's mostly it for the story. Now, like I said, if you haven't played previous games, there is more to the story.
Welcome to the Performance Center.
So let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay is a huge difference between last year's title and this year's title. So if you guys have played last year's, there's a new fighting mechanics, which is different from last year's title. If you've ever played any of the previous titles, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Players now have that limited option to do reversals, so that's a huge difference from last year's title. There's a bar below the signature, which is a huge thing that shows how many reversals you get. So while most of the time a player can have at least 5, and that's not me guessing, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Though some of the bars are real slow, so you have to build up over time, and what I mean is you have to keep punching your opponent in order for it to build up. So if you want to get a submission in the system, you're going to have to keep punching and build up your bar. Also, there's no longer button mashing. I know you guys have had a lot of problems with the button mashing, and me too. I mean, playing all the wrestling games, I've always had the button mash in order to get out of like a hold or something, and that was a pain in the ass. On the inside, though, you'll have a close-up submission. In the beginning of the match, you'll have the opportunity to take the first hit, and what I mean by that is you'll have a thing will pop up, and you'll be able to do a submission on your opponent. Whoever wins first takes over that match, and you'll go from there. Outside of the new gameplay, there's creative options for this year's title, and the creative options have changed massively. Players have tons of options with new hairstyle selections, new dye for the color of your hair, even new outfits, masks, and just more customization from last year. And this is something huge that the fans were asking for, and they freaking got it. So the Create a Championship feature is just about the same as previous renditions, but the thing is, you're creating a show in this universal mode. So creating a show even gives you the ability to choose where the show takes place. You could choose any arena throughout the United States, which is freaking cool, and you'll also have to compete in backstage practice matches in order to go to an official match, which is really freaking cool, and I like that too. Also, the roster of the wrestlers has grown. You'll be able to unlock over 121 superstar legends. From previous titles, the graphics have massively improved, and what I mean by that, there are some awesome looking wrestlers in this game, and they look so real. It's like you're watching an actual match. And the create a player mode, your guy that you create is superb, and what I mean by that is they made him look more real from previous titles. I remember last year's title and 2K14, it kind of looked like, you can tell it was like a video game, but this year it looks like an actual person, and as you can see right here, this is the guy that was created. And I mean, the wrestlers that come out and the superstars, they look like their actual counterparts, and that's something that is fantastic to see. I mean, these wrestlers, as the years go by, they change, and the way the graphics change with that is fantastic. I mean, I love looking at Kane coming out, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the movements. You know, I didn't run into any frame rate issues with this game. You know, just being that I only play the matches for like Tag Team and Hell in a Cell and Money in the Bank and stuff, I had a good time, and just the way that, you know, you fight your opponent, I didn't run into anything. The only thing I disliked was the audience. The audience could have a better improvement, so we'll see that next year.
Thinking to avoid that.
Overall, despite a few gripes, I had tons of fun playing this game. WWE 2K16 brings a bigger roster, more creative options for gamers, and a revamped career mode that is mostly good and has other improvements to make the experience and make it worth your while. It's a nice step up from last year's game. Improvements in some aspects, tiny steps back, and you know, the value worth the price, especially when expanded rosters and the huge improvement. Fun factor, fun for any wrestling fans. I give this game a nice 8.5 out of 10. This is Critical Redemption with another game review. Until next time, guys, take care, happy gaming.
So how did
Don't forget to always comment, rate, and subscribe.